Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda 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 Paramashivam.
Nityanam, everybody. We welcome each and every one of you who are seated with us from around the world. And today, in this podcast that we are seated here with, we're going to be listening and we're going to be discussing on some of the common understandings of fear that we have, and how today, when we have the Bhava Samadhi Darshan, when we have the Darshan of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, each and every one of us can experience breakthrough and break free from the various fears that we have. Joining with me, we have Srinithya Rajananda Maharaj and myself, Srinithya Sundareshwarananda Maharaj, and both of us would be here on this podcast with all of you.
Yes, thank you, Maharaj. Today we're going to be discussing some of the common fears that we have in the world, and also some of maybe a little bit of the uncommon fears that you may not have heard of, but unfortunately some people have these, but it's just a way that the world may be trying to get you to fear something. But when it comes to the solutions that come from Sanatana Hindu Dharma, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism gives us some of the most fundamental and beautiful techniques to overcome our fears and to be able to address them directly. So today we are going to be going back and forth and sharing with you some of the beautiful truths and about fear, and talking about specifically the fear related to death.
Yes. And also later today, we are going to be having a couple of more live sessions where we're going to be seeing if we can, understand some of the basic truths and basic understandings that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, our beloved Swamiji, has revealed about the fear, and what each and every one of you are experiencing. You could drop it down in the comment section, and we'll be taking this time and opportunity to answer each of those different questions that we have. So anyway, let's jump into today's session.
So the first things that we get to know about the small things that we have, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism shares with us the fears that we have. Maybe it may be related to our body, or maybe related to our close, near and dear ones, or maybe related to the fear of missing out on something in your life. So these are all some of the common fears that people have in their life, and the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, when he addresses this in many of his the sessions in the programs, tells us directly that all of these are somehow connected to the fear of death ultimately. But some of the common fears that actually many people commonly have are like the fear of heights, or the fear of animals, or fear of one of the fears is fears of confined spaces, fear of public speaking. Some of these kind of fears are some things that when we actually found the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism's teachings in our lives, we were able to just overcome them just naturally. I think it's just the way that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism just presented himself without any fear of anything in front of public, and not being able to speak or not being able to express themselves. Just by seeing the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism in our lives, we're just able to conquer all of these. That's one of the ways that the Guru actually teaches, just through his body language and expression, and us being able to absorb that and imbibe that, we're just able to overcome some of these smaller fears in our lives.
Yes, and another thing that I also wanted to share is, especially with regards to fear, maybe a couple of things that I can also share with every one of you, is that the fear itself is something that all of us go through and is inbuilt in us. The mechanism of fear, when you go through that emotion, how the adrenaline gets released and your entire body reacts in a fight or flight situation. So fear is actually a very interesting emotion to have, because it creates a complete variety. It actually can lead to expansion, or it could lead to some kind of being shrunk and creating a lot of trauma in a person. And what actually decides whether something is going to enter into expansion or something is going to enter into some kind of problem or some kind of bondage depends very much on how you handle the fear itself and how you are actually facing the fear. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, our beloved Swamiji, very beautifully shares that fear is something that we need to face, and it's only when you face the fear that you can overcome the fear. Most of the times, like even as simple as the idea of ghosts or darkness, many times we are scared of these things, but only when you go through that fear breaks in you. Similarly, many of us would be having various different fears and various different ideas that we have. What actually would break those fears is you going through them, and that is where the Paramashivam level 3 program that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is offering to the entire world absolutely free of cost. The Paramashivam level 3 program is a $21,000 program, and Swamiji is actually offering it completely free of cost for each and every one of you till the Chaturmasya period, which is the next 4 months. And for this limited period of time, the Chaturmasya special, it is going to be absolutely free. So during this program that we are having right now, today, the entire day we are going to be working and learning about fear and how we can overcome fear, and of course the root of the fear, which is death itself. So many secrets of death, many expressions of fear, how we can overcome it, how we can handle it, how we can tackle it, all of this we are going to be learning during the session today. So don't miss out on this opportunity. If you would like to experientially come out of your fears and break through from your fears, just go over to paramashivam.org and you can register yourself for the Paramashivam level 3 program that is happening. Alternatively, you can also scan the QR code that keeps changing, and you can join us. So before we go dive deeper into more understandings of fear and how each of us have experienced different fears and how we came out of it, we're going to be having a short break. Let's come back together after a short break. Stay tuned.
So many times you may have some desire, some guilt, some pain for which you are not able to find solution. And now the best chance or the best way to get the solution is from Master. Master is here. Don't miss the chance. We are going to work on each major layers. We are going to work on desire, guilt, depression, fear, and every major things, not only practically, esoterically. It is not even actually technique, because they are so esoteric, so deep. The whole course is designed just for the total transformation.
The higher dimensions, when they enter consciously into the lower dimensions, they manifest as powers. If the space dimension enters into time, time literally manifests everything space wants. How you have a nervous system which passes the thought currents inside you. Same way the cosmos has a nervous system which passes its decisions and thought currents, that is the space. Constantly be inspired by the space of the Paramashiva in your space. I'll give you all the 108 great gifts I brought from Kailasa. I'll give it as an experiential initiation to all of you.
Some of the scientists and researchers who are studying the reflection have found the reference. What is out there is not just 4 dimension, at least 11 dimension. The methodology they used, algebraic topology, and the informations they have, they even tried to map it down on the brain of the rat and confirming many of the informations they have makes sense. Understand, microcosms, telescope and microscope is algebraic topology. Macrocosms, telescope and microscope together is penetrated by oneness. The moment it is initiated, if the third eye is penetrated by the oneness, it acts as telescope and microscope together for cosmos, Brahmanda, what is out there. So if you want to understand and manifest the powers, want to experience Kailasa, hold my hand and come along with me. It means sit with integrity and listen and come along with me. I'll take you to Kailasa now.
Understand, program starts but never ends, and it is never the same again. It is actually not a program, it's a lifestyle initiation. It is just upgrading your consciousness, your being. Bring intense sincerity, sincere intensity into this program. Instead of sitting with your depressions, sit with me, Paramashiva. I welcome all of you to register by going to paramashivoham.org. And even if you have attended already any program, please go through once more intensely, sincerely, intensely, because it is going to be absolutely new and different level. I commit with you all. I will initiate all of you, bless you all with the Shakti Pada, Shakti Nipada, and Paramashiva myself will manifest the state, space, powers, being, super consciousness and Kailasa of Paramashiva in all of us.
Nityanam, everybody, welcome back. So today we are looking at some of the various different truths on the science of fear and how we can break free from fear. Yes, go ahead.
So Maharaj, one of the things you just mentioned that I have a question about, that I want to know, is fear is something that we can use to grow ourselves, use to learn from. So can you share something of how that is possible? Because when I think of fears, or think of how people will understand fears, it is something that is negative, that we should stay away from. But how do we use it, as you were saying, to grow?
Yes. So this is something that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, our beloved Swamiji, has shared multiple times. see, whatever emotion that you are going through, right? If you let life to decide the outcome of what is going to happen, like you go through a certain situation, and then the moment you feel that, okay, life has put me into so and so situation, the game is over.
Okay.
So whether it is fear or whether it is any situation per se, so even when you go through a situation where you are in fear of a certain thing or a certain happening, whatever it is, how you respond to life at that given point in time matters.
Okay.
Whether you use powerful cognitions and have a breakthrough, or you have some kind of, a shrinking cognition, a bondage, and you feel like, okay, no, this is all too difficult, I want to get out of this, I want to keep this away. You enter into that kind of a feeling and you shrink.
Yes.
So it is what and how you respond to life that matters.
Yes.
So that's something that I would say.
Yes, and actually what the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism also teaches is many people have the fear of fear itself, or fearing situations where they will have to answer that question of, oh, this is something scary, do I have to do this, or do I have to go through with this, those kind of situations. So what you're sharing is that when you come to those, attend to them with a little bit of awareness and a little bit of sincerity to look through logically and say, let's be powerful about this time. So that is one of the I think what you were sharing about how the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism shares with us that fear is something that we need to face with courage and face it head on, and that is one of the powerful cognitions that we come across with, especially when it comes to talking about fear. Now you also mentioned talking about death. So as a Balasant, how did the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism teach you specifically the teachings on how Nachiketa went to death and learned from him? In the same way would have been something in your upbringing as well.
Yes, true. So if I have to share something from my experience, right? So when you go through situations when you have to go through some kind of fear, most of the time it is, the fear of losing something or losing someone or losing a certain opportunity that you have, or you see, it's fear of always losing something where you feel that, okay, this is gone, that is gone. One of the most powerful things I would say that Swamiji has taught me would be that the science, the truth that Kalabhairava actually removes the things that you are really scared about, right? The parts that you're really scared about of losing, and he exactly just pulls those aspects out of your life just to show you that, hey, it's not as you think that your life cannot function without so and so thing.
Yeah.
Even without that, you are still powerful, you can still experience life and you can still take it on. So I think that is a very powerful cognition that I received from Swamiji. And when you have that kind of a powerful cognition, it kind of drills into you that, okay, there is no need for you to have fear of something. So naturally that also pulls away that fear of death that you have. And in our Hindu tradition, like the very upbringing and the very lifestyle, the Hindu lifestyle itself, all of us know that there is afterlife. Life doesn't end with just whatever we are seeing here. It's not one life as we are thinking, or some people believe in that kind of a thing. So it is more that we have life after this and we are going to exist continuously. So many powerful truths about death itself Swamiji has revealed in multiple different satsangs, programs, and so many different things, that all of those truths become a reality in you when you start having the darshan of Swamiji, or when you go over all those processes. Especially, like I remember the initial times when I came to Gurukul and attended the engineers at that time, which is similar to the Paramashivam level 3 program that is going on right now, where you go through the death meditation, where you go through all those various different steps of losing one by one, all the different fears that you have. At one point you would feel that, okay, I'm not touched by any of these things. So it would take you beyond all of that.
Yes, and beautifully, I think at an early age we are given a powerful identity itself beyond all these things. I mean, in the world today we see many children or many of the young people get attached to the things around them, to the people around them, to I can't live without my phone, I can't live without this particular app, I can't live with this, and it becomes so much more involved in the world. But once you get to have this touch, especially when you're a kid growing up, you know that you are actually something that can live and exist beautifully beyond having all of these things. Something powerful happens inside you. You recognize that you're not just a body or a mind. You may be understanding you're something more powerful, and that is actually one of the doorways into learning how we are consciousness, how we are something more than just what we are attached to, and something that can be attached to things around, but we can find the solace inside ourselves. And that's some of the peace that, especially for myself also, when we did these beautiful process with the guidance of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, going through the death where you visualize yourself going moving beyond all of these things in your life. When that happened, it strengthened me to understand I can be so much happy just being by myself, with myself. And that's one of the fears also that is very common, fear of loneliness. People find that being alone is something that is very frightening for them. But the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism teaches us going from loneliness to aloneness, finding so much tremendous amount of peace and satisfaction just by being with yourself. And that is what some of the things that he teaches. And there is another question, like specifically when it comes to going directly to the fear. So when Swamiji taught you, exactly, so did you have to go to him, he addressed specifically that this is a fear I have? How did he actually tell you these things?
Well, see, many things are not that way. And we are blessed to have Swamiji coming and, every single day giving the darshans, giving the satsangs, and sharing all these powerful revelations and truths. So most of, I would say, whatever understandings that I had, the powerful cognitions that I received, was from the satsangs.
Yes.
And when you have the darshan of Swamiji, all those powerful cognitions that Swamiji reveals during the satsangs just kind of become a part of you. And you start playing around with it, you start implementing it, you start trying to see, okay, how I can use what Swamiji has revealed in my life. Can I apply it in this situation? Can I apply it in this situation? Can I apply it in this situation? So it is a kind of a mix, I would say. And predominantly, the various powerful cognitions that basically grounded me would be from the satsangs itself, would be from all the darshans that we have.
And actually, after you have the darshan, you don't even have to even feel like you're putting an effort into implementing it into your life. You don't have to remember or write it on a piece of paper. It's just naturally you'll find yourself in a situation maybe where you would usually go into some kind of fear pattern, and then suddenly you'll realize, wait, I don't have to be afraid about this. I can decide to be powerful about this. And that is something that is the true miracle when it comes to having ability that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism gives to you immediately as soon as you have that. So that's the powerful thing. So today you also mentioned about Kalabhairava. That is what we have to talk about also. Today we're having the darshan of Kalabhairava. Would you share more about Kalabhairava?
Well, with regards to me and with Lord Kalabhairava, I would say that is a very, very special bond or a connection that I would share with Swamiji as Mahakalabhairava, because it is that form of Swamiji as Mahakalabhairava which kind of, clean bowled me, I would say, which is like a very beautiful expression that with Swamiji that I have, and especially being an Akashic reader, where you basically get the initiation from Mahakalabhairava himself to be able to read the Akashic records. Being an Akashic reader, I would say that various of the initiations that I have received from Swamiji as Mahakalabhairava is something that has tremendously helped me experience the breakthroughs in my life, is what I would say. And Kalabhairava is an embodiment of ferociousness and doing what is right, and being the Lord of time and space. I would say that, see, whenever you go through some kind of ups and downs and all of that, the moment you invoke Kalabhairava in your life, it's like breaking through anything and everything that kind of blocks you, whether it's depression or whether it is anger. Either ways, Kalabhairava just blasts through everything and aligns you back into that right space, I would say. So it's all about doing what is right and what has to be done, never compromising due to any situation that is there. So I would say, in my personal opinion, that is the beauty of Kalabhairava. Wherever we feel we are stuck about something, it's not that it would happen in an easy way. No, I wouldn't say that. It's not that it happens easy, but it happens in a way that is right. But the result happens no matter what. So I would say that is my personal experience with Mahakalabhairava. So whenever you feel some kind of stuck here or stuck there, or you're having a dilemma, you don't know what to do, what decisions you need to take, all that you have to do is invoke Kalabhairava. And of course, today in the Parameshwaram Level 3 program, we're going to be blessed with the darshan of Mahakalabhairava, embodying the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. And of course, it's one of a darshan which all of us would be waiting to have. And from yesterday, as we know, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has been answering all the questions of all the devotees and the prayer requests from every one of you guys out there on various social media platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, WhatsApp. So we have so many different platforms which are there, through which you can post your questions, you can ask your prayers and have it blessed by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. So again, this is a one-off opportunity that every one of us have, and today we all have the opportunity to ask Mahakalabhairava himself for our prayers and our boons.
Yes, and I think one of the ways that many people connect with the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, or their very entry into Hinduism or practicing the Hindu lifestyle, is with Kalabhairava, because Kalabhairava is like he's a friend, and he's also the protector. He's like the guy who's always going to be there and protect you and take care of you. That is the way. He's so much like how you relate with the Ganesha, and how you play with the Ganesha, pray to the Ganesha. In the same way, Kalabhairava is like the father, the God who just comes and takes care of everything for you. That is the way that many people are actually, many times when it comes to understanding they want some kind of a divinity in their life, they even will just look up to the God in the form of Kalabhairava, because then he's there as a protector. That is why they worship him as the Kshetrapalaka, the protector of the whole world, of the whole cosmos itself. And in that way that we connect with Kalabhairava, and he manifests, as Maharaj was sharing, he manifests in such a powerful way, and in the most, as you're saying, also little mysterious way. Yes, you don't know exactly how he's going to work in your life, but you know his hand is there. He's definitely going to make sure you make it out, and you make it out perfect at the end. And that is the way it is. That is also some of the same as many of our experiences when it comes to connecting with Kalabhairava, seeing how he just plays the Leela in your life, and okay, if you step off the track, okay, if I step off right now, there will be something that Kalabhairava will make sure they put in the place, so that I remember to come back on track, to remember what is my integrity, to remember what is it that I have to do. Definitely Kalabhairava teaches us in these ways, and definitely, really, actually, it's not just being there, but he literally does the work of making us more ferocious and making us like him. We have seen how he teaches us that every time we go back, and he helps us get out back on the path, that every time we're more aware of it, and never makes us make the same kind of mistakes again and again. If you're a person who continuously makes similar kind of mistakes and not able to go beyond these, it is really very important that you come to the darshan tonight and get to have Kalabhairava's blessings in your life. Start this beautiful relationship with Kalabhairava, because he's such a beautiful deity to have as a part of your life.
Yes, and also I would say that not just for the darshan, but attend the entire program that's going on today, because a lot of these powerful cognitions that you would learn would prepare you to receive Kalabhairava, would prepare you to receive the darshan of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, embodying Mahakalabhairava himself. So the preparation, I would say, is also as equally important as receiving the darshan itself, because you would then be in a complete space of receptivity when Mahakalabhairava lands. and you would make whatever blessings that you have received or you will be receiving from Kalabhairava as a reality in your life. So once again, log on to paramashivaham.org. You can also scan the QR code that is being projected on the screen below and register yourself for the Paramashivam program, which is currently the Paramashivam level 3 program, and it is absolutely given free of cost. The program itself is worth $21,000, but out of his infinite compassion, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has opened it out absolutely free of cost for every one of us for a very limited time till the Chaturmasya is over. So do not miss this opportunity. Log in and register yourself right now to have the change in your life.
Yes, it is very important right now to be in the sessions, because these are powerful sessions to prepare someone to have the darshan of Kalabhairava. Because maybe out of the blue you may not want to look into your fears or immediately, or you may not be familiar, but familiar with it at a bit, but you do these sessions because to many aspects of your life that you don't know your fears are actually doing a lot of work in. So you may be having something struggling with a relationship in your life, but you won't know the underlying understanding about why you're behaving this way with this person is because you have a fear that they will go away from you if you speak a particular way, or they will say something to you that is not nice. So this actual undercurrent of fear is something we many of us don't even understand plays such a big role, and that's why in the sessions of the Paramashivam program you get to really look into the way the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism's teachings literally handhold you into really understanding how fear has actually played a role in really telling the whole narrative and why to all of these, bringing it to your actions and doing the exercises that are there. You'll be able to understand that it's some kind of a life that you don't really need to live. You can live beyond these fears and not have, maybe in your relationships, have fear be the base, rather have sharing and friendliness as the base. And this way the real work is there in the sessions of the Paramashivam program, where you get to really bring to awareness about how it is you're actually living your day-to-day life. And after doing that clarity, after having that inner chatter settle, after doing all of these sessions, the inner chatter, like thoughts that go on inside you about worrying about this or that, all of those settle. And when you're in that beautiful restful awareness, then when you have the darshan of Kalabhairava, it is magnificent. It is actually going to be something so profound. It will really do the powerful impact that we are sharing happens when you have the darshan. So even right now you can go and join up on the sessions.
Yes, you can join on the sessions. All that you have to do is register yourself. Just go Google for paramashivaham.org and there you go. You should be able to log in right away. And you can also scan the QR code that is there. If you have any doubts and questions that you want to ask, you can also drop your questions and comments on the YouTube or the other channels. So once again, we're going to be coming back together after a short break. Stay tuned.
So many times you may have some desire, some guilt, some pain for which you are not able to find solution. And now the best chance or the best way to get the solution is from Master. Master is here. Don't miss the chance. We are going to work on each major layers. We are going to work on desire, guilt, depression, fear, on every major things, not only practically, esoterically. It is not even actually technique, because they are so esoteric, so deep. The whole course is designed just for the total transformation.
The higher dimensions, when they enter consciously into the lower dimensions, they manifest as powers. If the space dimension enters into time, time literally manifests everything space wants. How you have a nervous system which passes the thought currents inside you. Same way the cosmos has a nervous system which passes its decisions and thought currents That is the space. Constantly be inspired by the space of the Paramashiva in your space. I'll give you all the 108 great gifts I brought from Kailasa. I'll give it as an experiential initiation to all of you.
Some of the scientists and researchers who are studying the reflection have found the reference. What is out there is not just 4 dimension, at least 11 dimension. The methodology they used, algebraic topology, and the informations they have, they even tried to map it down on the brain of the rat and confirming many of the informations they have makes sense. Understand, microcosms, telescope and microscope is algebraic topology. Macrocosms, telescope and microscope together is third eye penetrated by oneness. The moment it is initiated, if the third eye is penetrated by the oneness, it acts as telescope and microscope together for cosmos, Brahmanda, what is out there. So if you want to understand and manifest the powers, want to experience Kailasa, hold my hand and come along with me. It means sit with integrity and listen and come along with me. I'll take you to Kailasa now.
सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्परा.
And you need to know, all your fears are more like a drug addiction. The delusion coming down, not like a real fact. Listen to this. This is the boon I am giving for my disciples. Listen this. There is certain level of toxins in your body. That level of toxins decides the panic attack and feeling terrorized. As long as the quantity of those toxins is left in your system, your life will have a very cheap, low quality. Anybody can frighten you. Anybody can make you shiver, piss in the pants. Mark this statement. Your enemy's sleeper cell inside your consciousness is your fears. The amount of fear you experience is only the amount of toxins. It has nothing to do with reality or facts. How much of possibility is there snake biting you? Almost 0.00000000%. But how many people see snake in dream, waking state, all the kind of states? Even when they are scrolling the Facebook, if there is a snake photo on the Facebook, people will not touch that. They will scroll in the side. They will not touch that photo of snake in the Facebook screen, in touch screen also. They will not touch the photo of the Facebook. Photo of the snake in the touch screen. How many of you are like that? Even if it is a snake's photo in the touch screen, you will not touch that photo in the touch screen. I tell you, life is all about powerful cognitions you have inside. Life is all about the contribution you are doing to the world, to others. It has nothing to do with the fears you feel. Actually, nobody cares about the fears you feel. That's the truth. You should know. By showing fear, nobody is going to sympathize with you. It is not cute. People may, in front of you, just not to hurt you, they may show sympathy. Oh, sorry, I am feeling really sorry for you and all that. Just that side they will turn, They will either tease you, or they will forget you, or they will enjoy secretly your fears. I tell you, fear is not cute for yourself or for others. What is fear? Emotional shit. What is fear? Emotional shit. So, I tell you, reduce the fear to physical component. Don't give the fear the psychological power. Then you can never break fear. Fear is nothing but toxic shit sitting in your lower intestine. Understand? Listen to the lower intestine. Fear is nothing but the toxic shit sitting in your lower intestine. All you need is just marana smarana and detoxification. That's it. Just have marana smarana and detox. Before introducing death, I wanted to introduce the emotion death evokes. What is that? Fear. What is fear actually? It is a negative fantasy about future. That's all. Understand? Negative fantasies about future is fear. Otherwise, how fantasy you voluntarily create and enjoy it, fear also you voluntarily create and enjoy it. You will understand the fear and the delusions and illusions associated with fear. Fear is nothing but self-fulfilling negative prophecies about life. If you sit and analyze all the fears you have, the incompletions created and maintained by your fears, incompletions which keeps your fears alive, fears which keeps your incompletions alive. Actually, both feed into each other. Incompletions which keeps your fears alive, fears which keeps your incompletions alive. Let us just spend little time, few minutes on your fears. Then we will have a question answer session on your fears, fear patterns, incompletions related to fear, how incompletions maintain fear, fear maintains incompletions. Get the worksheet, the first worksheet. Internalizing incompletions with fear. Fear of losing name and fame, losing your wealth, losing health, fear of accidents, fear of losing dear ones, fear of unknown, fear of death, fear of cockroach and whatnot. Pen down everything. start digging out.
Nithyanam, everybody, welcome back. So we are discussing about fear, about death, and how the both of these impact our life and how we can break free from each of these in our life. Especially today we are having the Paramashivam level 3 program, which is all dependent and everything around fear and death, and how we can break from each of these step by step. It's a clearly established science the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has given, especially when we break free from the idea of death or the fear of death. There is so much of expansion that each and every one of us would go through in our life. Because a lot of ideas that we carry, a lot of decisions that we make are based on this idea of death that we have. So the moment the understanding of death changes, the fear of death disappears, the very way that we cognize life, the very way we respond to life would be different. So once again, join the Paramashivam level 3 program that is going on. It's a $21,000 that is offered absolutely free of cost for a limited period of time. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has opened the program, the doors of the program for every one of us. It's a virtual event that is going on right now. So all that you have to do is you can scan the QR code below, or you can also go over to paramashivoham.org and register yourself for the Paramashivoham program, so that you have the right understandings of break the fears of death.
Yes, and the Supreme fears with just simply be having you may be having the smallest fears in your life to the biggest fears in your life, or of losing things, of losing your own body, to the smallest fears of losing your phone or losing something that is a utility for you. But all of these fears we all go through, and inside the Paramashivam program and in the sessions you will be able to bring your awareness to how these are gripping you, how these are not letting you express your full potential, and how you can literally all redundant in your life and make them something that you don't even have to bother about in your life. And these are the strengths that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism gives us in his teachings in the Paramashivam program, and some of these sessions are very beautiful. So in a few moments what we're going to be having is we're going to be seeing one of the first sessions that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has taken on fears, in conquering fear, and specifically talking about how it is actually all connected to the ultimate fear of death, and how Hinduism, in the Upanishadic stories and the Upanishadic lore, there is a tale of Nachiketa, of a young boy who goes and attends to death and learns the most important lessons in life that all of us can share. The truths of the Upanishads are something that we're also supposed to be studying during this Chaturmasya period, and the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is very beautifully compassionate, giving the opportunity for all of us to really attend to these attend to our own spiritual growth. Hinduism gives us a period where we can do spiritual inquiry and find ourselves and find strength in spirituality for ourselves, and these go a long way. And in Hinduism, this 4-month period is called as Chaturmasya, and that is what is the period going on now. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is getting the opportunity for everyone to be able to really have their Chaturmasya, begin their Chaturmasya, and any time, and you can all start it with the Paramashivoham program. And inside the Paramashivoham program, we all study actually everything that is being taught in this program is the revival of wonderful Upanishadic truths. There are today specifically the truths that come from the Kathopanishad are specifically being studied as those related with the conversations about death, immortality, how to live forever, because these are actually some of the fundamental questions that the small boy Nachiketa goes and asks Yama. So in a few moments we're going to see the clip, so we can get the clip started. And we can see the way that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, from the beginning, when he envisioned Kailasa, he understood the world will have these issues, and he shared with everyone exactly how a common point among most of the world traditions is the question about death, is the question about what happens after death and why we fear it so much, and what it is talks about, the most talked about subject. So let's just start this discussion, Maharaj.
Sure. And also, if any of you have any doubts, any questions, we have Ashish Rana who has just posted a message. So once again, if any of you have anything that you would like to ask, you would like to post and share with us, you can always feel free to do that by posting it in the chat, and we should take this opportunity to discuss on that and also share our insights on any of the questions that you have. So anyway, now let's dive deep to understand and to listen from the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism.
There is a small story. Mullah Nasruddin was telling one of his friends. He's actually weeping and wailing and complaining about his salary. I'm receiving only $20,000 per month. How my life will go. This guy said, for your standard and for your qualification is too much. Why don't you feel satisfied? Why don't you understand that it's really too much? When you started, what was your salary? This guy said, when I started it was 2,000. Now it is 20,000. Why don't you feel satisfied? This guy says, the moment I hear that my salary is 20,000, I started thinking my weight is 1 lakh. I start imagining about myself is something always more than my salary. Your mind projects yourself always big than what you are given. The moment the reality increases, your imagination jumps. Reality comes by train, imagination comes by telegram. Before the reality reaches your house, the imagination has reached you. Before you start living with the reality, the imagination has taken over you, taken away your life. Because of your unfulfillable imaginations, you contaminate sex also. The too much of greed and too much of fear. Sex and death both creates hell in your life. Both makes your life miserable as much as possible. As much miserable as possible. This pulls you one side and this pushes you the other side. Pushing and pulling between death and sex. Sex is life. Death is anti-life. Both look like two banks of rivers. This is one side and that is other side. It seems both will never meet each other. Both looks totally contradictory to each other. The man who is having too much of greed, he will be always against death. That is why they try their best to hang on by putting yourself into the wires and all possible machines. Too much of greed only creates too much of fear against death. Deep greed only wants you to live continuously. In ancient days, once the person crosses the state of vanaprastha means once your kids are matured and are ready to take up the responsibility of the life, you are expected to become a vanaprastha. Vanaprastha means waiting in the forest for the sake of ending the life. The last phase of the life is specially dedicated to prepare yourself to leave the planet Earth. You have lived, now it is time to leave. It is time to pack up your bags. The last phase is dedicated in the Gurukulam system. In the Vedic system, Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa. Brahmacharya means the period of studying or learning your profession. Both are Brahmacharya. Grihastha means living your life joyfully and sharing your energy with your husband or wife. Living together is Grihastha. Then Vanaprastha. Once your kids are matured to take the responsibility of life on their own, you relax. You drop out from the rat race, the social struggles, and take time to grow inside. Get ready for leaving the body. Then naturally your life becomes beautiful. Living was also beautiful and leaving is also beautiful. But now, no time is given to you. Too much of greed. Till the end you want to achieve everything. Till the end you want to do something. You are in the rat race till you drop dead. You are in the rat race till automatically you drop dead. I have seen many guys, even at the time, just 1 or 2 days before the death also, they will not stop going to their office. So much of greed, too much of greed makes you against the life. Same way, too much of fear of death shrinks you from your life. The fear of death makes you totally depressed, makes you dull, makes you move away from the life. As on now, in the impure state, both are contradictory to each other. When you add
I bless you all. Let you all open all your three eyes.
Nityanandam, everybody, welcome back. So we saw some of the various beautiful truths that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was sharing at a very, very early beginning stage, when the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism actually shared the happening and of Nachiketa, and how, like in our day-to-day life also, how we never get satisfied, and it kind of leads to other complications that we go through in our life. So actually the only way where you can actually break through from the fear or death is through experiencing and going through having the right powerful cognitions and facing it with the strength. And this is something that you can have when you attend the Paramashivam level 3 program that is going on right now. So head over to paramashivam.org and register yourself for the Paramashivam program. And this is actually US dollar program. And right now the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has offered it completely. Once again, today in time we have the special darshan of Kalabhairava. So take this opportunity to call your friends, your family, anyone and everyone that you know of, and ask them and get them for having the darshan of Kalabhairava himself. And you can ask your questions, you can ask your prayers, get your prayers blessed by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, embodying Kalabhairava himself. So this is a one-off opportunity that you never want to miss. So make sure that you are registering for the Paramashivam program and also join in for the darshan that's going to be happening later today.
Yes, so in this beautiful clip where the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism shared about the pull and push that is there in life, about fear and greed that happens in people's lives, and beautifully he has given one of the social structures that is there in Hinduism, where people after have come into retirement, they don't they go into a period of life called vanaprastha. And if you know people, if your parents are also there, who need to come to these healing about some of the fears they have in life, and come to embrace that there is going to be death and there is going to be life after that, and finding out these truths, if these truths are something important that you actually think is important for your parents to understand, then you should recommend the Paramashivam program to them, because the period of vanaprastha inside the Hinduism is a period that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was just explaining. It is a period of just looking in and finding how to close on the things in your life and finding the healing to be able to leave. So it was a concept how he said there is an art of living in your life, there is also the art of leaving, how to gracefully age. And that is a beautiful understanding. If you see many of the people who come through the Paramashivam program or have the darshan of Kalabhairava or have Swamiji's blessings in their life, especially when they're coming close to their retirement age, they live such graceful lives. You will see such energy come back into their lives. They feel like they've just took a rebirth, and many of them, if they literally start their whole life over. They get a job even after it's their retirement. They say, no, let me start living more, let me do more in my life. And if this is something like you want to have your parents understand, especially because in the Hindu lifestyle that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is reviving, you don't ever stop living. You live up till 100 years, you're continuously going, but you're not driven, how the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is sharing, you're not driven by greed. Not the greed to keep having, but the greed to share more, become to give more, and that healing is something that happens. So surely if you have anyone in your life needs this concept of graceful aging in their life.
I would actually say that not that if you know of anyone, I would say each and every one that you know of, whether these truths when we are young, when you are taught, becomes something in life. So there is like no age group, like whether you are elderly and you have passed your retirement age, whatever period of that age span that you might be in, this is something that it is going to benefit you and everyone in a multi-dimensional level. So do not miss this opportunity and log in for the Paramashivam level 3 program so that you can experience the very healing from the death, and you can understand the powerful truths behind death, and through that manifest the life that you want. So I think we are coming towards the conclusion of this particular live as we are speaking right now. We are going to be joining you back in some time and also sharing various different truths and powerful cognitions that we have experienced in our life and that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has revealed for each and every one of us. That way, we are looking forward to meeting each and every one of you in the Paramashivam level 3 program that's going on right now. Once again, log in to paramashivam.org and register yourself for the program happening today. And we'll see you back again in the next live after a short break. Stay tuned.
I bless you all. Let you all.
Violent weekend across the country. There were several mass shootings, including 2 here in California.
Rate rises, inflation, the war in Ukraine, and the end of COVID have created a unique set of financial challenges.
A recent HHS government health survey found that nearly half of young adults 18 to 25 had experienced either substance use or mental health disorder during the height of the pandemic.
And visualize yourself as Sage Vasishta. Gaze to the nose, visualize Swamiji in your inner space, and perform the Mula Bandha as you do so.
Nithyanam everybody. We welcome each and every one of the viewers who are sitting with us from all over the world for today's yet another powerful session followed by the very special darshan of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism.
For these 4 months, I am making the whole Paramashivam program completely free of cost. The program, which will cost $21,000, will be free for everyone till 24th October 2023.
Violent weekend across the country. There were several mass shootings, including 2 here in California.
Rate rises, inflation, the war in Ukraine and the end of COVID have created a unique set of financial challenges.
A recent HHS government health survey found that nearly half of young adults 18 to 25 had experienced either substance use or a mental health disorder during the height of the pandemic.
And visualize yourself as Sage Vasishta. Gaze to the nose, visualize Swamiji in your inner space, and perform the Mula Bandha as you do so.
Nithyanam, everybody. We welcome each and every one of the viewers who are sitting with us from all over the world for today's yet another powerful session. Followed by the very special darshan of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism.
For these 4 months, I am making the whole Paramashivam program completely free of cost. The program, which will cost $21,000, will be free for everyone till 24th October 2023.